Hi, hello. It's a privilege to be here. It's an opportunity, and thank you, Pastor Williams, Pastor Sam, and Alicia, for the opportunity to be here and to share some thoughts about reputation, about reputation management, and the importance of this for the church. Because when we are talking about communication, we are about AI, we are talking about technology, but it's important to understand that communication is related to reputation. As Pastor Williams says, very important what he said, because reputation is important for the evangelism. Good reputation is important for the mission. The church can't do the mission without good reputation, without credibility, without trust. Because the people are looking for trust in Jesus, but throughout the church. And then I would like to share some aspects about how to relate the reputation with our mission, with the church, and with the communication. The title is Strong but Not Indestructible Reputations, because we need to build reputations. Quick concepts only to think about. We need to think first in image. The image of the organizations of the church, the image formed in people's mind from their relations with a brand, whether it's a person or an organization. It's very interesting because the image is formed in the mind. With your perception, with your life, with your history, all these elements are part of the image that you build in your mind. When you think about image, for example, Paul Argenti says that the general public has perceptions about an organization even before interacting with it. It's interesting. Okay, I don't know what is the church, Seventh-day Adventist church, but I start to build an image in my mind about the church. Some says about to build a branding for the church, and the branding starts with a perception, and a perception starts in the mind. It's very interesting because you look, okay, what is Seventh-day Adventist church? I don't know, but it seems that is a word church. They keep the Sabbath. They don't eat pork. And I don't know what. They are very strange and weird. But you need to understand that the perception is built throughout the image. William Benoit said that image perception is an asset considered to be more important than its our own reality. It's more important than the reality. What you see is more important. Okay, I am a good man, but what's your perception about me? The Seventh-day Adventist church is very inclusive. It's a church of love. It's a church. Okay, but what's the perception about the church? In the communication is related to this concept. This guy was my professor. And he said that it's another concept. about discourse. You have the first concept, image. You have the second concept, discourse. Beck says that the discourse of a person or organization is everything they think and how they express themselves and how they are structured. Sometimes we think that our discourse is only what we are talking, but in fact, what we are is our discourse. Discourse is not a concept only, okay, you are talking about this or that, but the discourse is more than this. It's beyond this concept. It's beyond this idea. It's very interesting. You have the perception of image and you have the discourse. That is how I say I am and how I want to be seen. It's important, the vision of the people about us, about the church, about our project. It's not only important to communicate. It's important to communicate. Custin told us about the importance of a good communication, a good strategy for communication, and the public. What's the reaction of the public about this? It's very important. He's a Portuguese scholar, Nuno Jorge. He says that reputation is an asset, and it's important, this word, asset, because it has value. Is an asset that must be managed in a way that adds value, and that is a competitive advantage. Reputation is not only, okay, you are good. No, you have value. You are important. When you have good reputation, you are important. And I will make a relationship with you because you are important. And if you have no good reputation, okay, you do a lot of things, but you are not important. Reputation, Mário Rosa, Brazilian scholar. Reputation is an asset. Again, the word asset. To be worked on, it's important, the word. Permanently. Not a final conquest. A medal kept in a safe place for away from risk or threat. Permanently, we need to keep building our reputation, our brand. And this is a matter of communication. Fambrum, the reputation of an organization is always about the result of the judgments or personal judgments. Or it matters what the people says about the church. You build an important system of AI to produce content. Okay, it's very important, and the reaction of the people. We need to measure the reaction. We need to measure the results, the outcomes of this. And the word in Portuguese is reputação. Reputation, reputação. But does the organization or the personal brand have to flee from judgment or face it? That's the question. We need to flee, but the judgment exists. It's not our choice. We need to face this. We are a visible church, and we want to be a visible church and a relevant church. And because of this, we need to face. When our communication needs to take in consideration this point. We are involved in a road that judges our behavior, our concepts, exactly, the people are judging us as a church, as an organization. It's very, very important to know. If you exist as a church, as an organization, you must face it. Judgments will always appear. Some is relevant, and we need to learn with the mistakes that the people show us on social media, but some is not. There's a lot of insanity in the digital environment. You know. We have a lot of crazy people in the environment. But it's part of the process of growing as a church, as an organization. We need to think about our identity. And for me, and in my studies, I think that the identity is the correlation between what you say you are or believe, the discourse, and how they perceive what you do. Image perception. It's the combination between image perception and discourse. This product, for me, is the identity, the organizational identity. And we are building this identity all the time. When there is consistency between discourse and image, the reputation does not suffer. But when there is some kind of rupture, gap, or dissonance, crisis happens. Whether it's in the discourse or in the image perception. It's interesting. I was studying for many years this point. And I said to my professor, no, is this only crisis in the image, not in discourse? No. If you are lying for the people, you are creating problems. You are creating crisis. When you say that you are good church for these people, in this situation, but you don't do anything about this, you are lying and you are building a problem that is called crisis of discourse. It's very important. We have a lot of concepts, but let me put, for me it's more interesting. A crisis, in most cases, arises from an unmanaged, calculated, minimized, or prevent risk. Patrícia Teixeira lives in England, but is Brazilian. It's very interesting because when we think about crisis, and Pastor Williams said about good news, but when we are facing bad news, we need to think. We need to think, why the bad news are arising around me? Because of why? What's the reason? I need to think. If my discourse is not good, my communication is not consistency, or the perception of the people are not good. It's necessary to calculate. It's necessary to evaluate. What do I need to do? Have a consistent discourse, solid structure and expression with what is expected of you. We as church, we have a solid structure, beliefs, principles, guidelines. But sometimes our expression of this is not so good. We can grow up because we need to think in the public. We need to think in the people that are seeing us. Boost what you do well. Projects, programs, initiatives help spread the word about good practice. It's very interesting. We need to spread the news, the good news. Our projects, our initiatives, our values. For example, we have a new ministry not a new ministry, but a ministry that works with people, blind people, deaf people. But it's very important. We are making projects of inclusion. This is important? Yes. But sometimes we prefer to hide these projects. Another suggestion, listen more to the interest parts or your public. Be coherent. That is, align the church being and doing. Align the church being and doing. We need to be coherent because it's very, very important. The people is looking for coherent organization. Not the biggest organization, but the coherency of the organizations. It's very important. Map your risks and potential crises. There is crisis containment and prevention. To analyze beforehand what can happen is more intelligent, economical, and efficient. Brands should take into consideration the notion of a hybrid digital society. We are talking about this on this game. And a lot of concepts, let me. And in the final of my speech, I like to say that we are not exempt from errors. We are vulnerable as individuals and as organizations. We need to admit this and work to improve, all of us. Because reputation is built day by day. And we need to learn as communicators, as people, because reputation can and must be built all the time. Thank you very much.